It's Thursday, 11 o'clock. Ooh! It's Thursday, 11 o'clock. It's time for this week's watch drop. The theme for this week is monochromatic watches. We've got a few watches that actually we've never had in subdial history, and so I really want to jump into those. And I'm not just picking watches that are a little bit odd. These are watches that I really genuinely love. They've really surprised me. And putting down on the table together as a sort of foursome, I can absolutely see that I would love each and every one of them, ideally as a collection. But let's jump into them and I'll tell you what it is that I like about them. The first watch I want to talk about is from the Gondolo line from Patek Philippe. This is a 90s, early noughties reference 5030G. It's a tonneau-shaped watch with time and date. It's a fairly simple dress watch. It has time and date only. It has an automatic caliber, and I think it's actually quite interesting. I was trying to think back that center seconds on dress watches in Patek are actually quite a rare thing. And when you see them like you do on this watch, it kind of stands out as quite a nice feature. Usually that's something that's saved for sports watches where timing is really of the essence. And in dress watches, according to Patek Philippe, that's less of an important factor to get right. But what I would say about this watch is it's got all the hallmarks of a really great dress watch. It's a 34mm white gold case. The tonneau shape, when you look at it face on, is almost exactly the same size and shape as the tonneau, the Tortue from Cartier. But this has applied white gold Breguet numerals, Breguet adjacent numerals. It does also have Breguet hands, but it's so much thinner than the Cartier equivalent. And what's really surprising about that is it's got a full-size rotor in there. So it's an automatic watch. And when you put all those things together and you look at the price point around the sort of mid-teens, it's actually a really compelling watch. What I love about it, if I'm completely honest, and it's true of all of these watches apart from the last one, is that a monochromatic dial with a white gold case makes it the perfect canvas for putting literally whatever strap you want on it. Obviously, Patek pair it with a sort of dark alligator, as you can see here, but the world is your oyster with this thing. You could go blues, you can go greens, beige, tan, and with that comes, I think, the option for it to be many different watches on many different occasions, either a black tie event or something much more casual with a bright poppy colour. It's a really good watch and it's really thin. On my wrist, it's very comfortable, I have to say. Really love this watch, and it's an overlooked reference, particularly in white gold. The next monochromatic watch I'm going to talk about is another reference that I've not seen before. This one's from another Holy Trinity brand in Vacheron. The reference here is 47200. It's part of the Patrimony range. It's discontinued as well as the Gondolo. This is not something that you can walk into Vacheron and go and get now. What I really love about it, it's got that sort of feel of an asymmetric dial like you get on a Patek 5712 and a Neptune that we'll come to in a moment. But it's got lots of quirky characteristics about it. It's got a vertical stripe down the dial, which you really only see in bright lights. But everything else sparkles. It's a white gold applied Maltese cross. The hands are white gold. The Roman indices are white gold. It's just a really quirky sort of layout, but it's a wonderful open case back with a full-size rotor, really nice and slender, 36mm in a case diameter, and a stepped case. And it's something about stepped cases that I really like. It gives that sort of mid-century sort of feel to it. Vintage, definitely a vintage aesthetic. It's a reference I've not seen before, and once again, being monochromatic means that you can do whatever the hell you like with straps. And of course, we've left it on the Vacheron alligator, but I would absolutely put that on something grey or maybe even something brighter, a bright blue, and it would look absolutely spot on. What a watch. Next up is another 2025 JLC Reverso. 2 weeks ago, we listed the blue dial version of this, which is it's the tribute to the 1931 edition. It's the smaller case size. This is, as we said in that video, which we can link here or here, it is going back to those traditional case dimensions, that sort of same look and feel as the original. This one, however, has this beautifully matte white dial, and I applaud the previous owner for having it on this beautiful Casafagliano tan strap. It just looks incredible and actually really goes quite nicely with my Ecru chalkert. I love this thing for all the reasons that I love the blue one, but I think from a versatility perspective, the white dial has to win out. It's a really great thing. I don't know what more to say about it other than I'm so pleased that JLC are reverting back to their origins. We're going back to a time when smaller cases were in vogue, were seen as the right size to fit men's and women's aesthetics. On my 18 centimeter wrist, I think this case size and 24 millimeters across the case is absolutely spot on. I don't know why you'd want anything bigger than that. The last watch is another monochromatic design, but this time with a bracelet. Now, we've spoken about the Patek Neptune, the reference 5080 before. This is its brother, the 5085. What I love about this watch is, firstly, it's completely bonkers. You've got the same, almost the same bracelet as you do on the 5080, but this is highly polished without the sort of ridges in each of the links as you work your way along the bracelet. But that's not to say that there's any less work that's gone into this. It's a very, very good bracelet. Really beautifully finished, very three-dimensional, almost a beads of rice look, but tapered. It integrates brilliantly to the case. What's really fascinating about this watch is that it's exactly the same 240 caliber based movement that you get in a Patek 5712 and other watches. Now, this watch, at a price point of around £20,000, is all steel. It's a rarer thing than the 5712A, but it commands something like a third, nearly a quarter of the price of a 5712. And I just don't understand it, because to me, I know it's quirky, I know it's asymmetric, but so is the 5712. The case is probably more regular than a sort of a Nautilus. And so with a circular bezel, you're drawn to the interest in the dial, probably more so than you are with a Nautilus, if that makes any sort of sense. It does in my mind. But I look at this and I think it's pure value. I know £20,000 is a lot of money, but for a full set and a watch that was produced in very small numbers, it's a comfortable, versatile watch that can be both slightly dressy, but also absolutely a sports watch that you can wear swimming and playing football or doing whatever you want to do in it. I really think that this is another overlooked gem from Patek Philippe, and comes from that time period of 90s, noughties, when they were producing really interesting designs in low numbers. And now collectors like me are starting to look back at those catalogues and think, well, where is that watch now? And why aren't people celebrating it in the same way that we are the Nautilus? Really fascinating watch, very comfortable on wrist and great legibility. So all of the characteristics that you would want from a great sports watch. Definitely worth a look. This week we really did have so many monochromatic and interesting watches that meet that brief. I have to talk about the 5711G purely because that dial is just magnetic. It's gorgeous. I love the way that it plays with light, and it has that heft. Oh, white gold Nautilus, perfect. We've got a Daytona reference 116509. I love these with, now that you look back at the non-ceramic bezels on Daytonas and you think, actually, they probably got it right first time. I really like that. It's nice to see a watch that's completely monolithic with its bezel and doesn't have that sort of bright, crisp black bezel that you see on the steel Daytonas. I have to touch on the 5230. This is another monochromatic grey dial, world time, white gold, Patek Philippe with a Beijing time zone on it, which makes it quite collectible. It's a lovely thing and great strap choice, actually. And maybe one last one, a 40mm platinum chronometre souverain from FP Journe. Strictly speaking, not monochromatic. We've got blued hands on this one, but you can get it with white gold hands. It's just a lovely watch. What more can you want from a dress watch? Ultra thin, hefty, beautiful, independent watchmaking, untouchable, frankly. And the last one I'm going to touch on is this beautiful Ellipse from Patek Philippe. I'm not going to go into this because later this week, on Sunday at 4 o'clock, we'll be releasing a deep dive on a new series called Dialed In. And I took the time to sit down, open a bottle of whiskey, and run through some of the history of that model line. I really enjoyed recording that video, and I hope you enjoy watching it. So do check that out. And that's it for this week's drop. So many watches hitting the site. Do hit the website, check them out, and don't forget about the Ellipse video going live on Sunday at 4 o'clock. I'll see you next week.